You do realize that the only difference between someone who has their manifestation or someone who's still waiting for it is because of a decision that they made. But what do you mean? It can't be that simple because, well, sometimes things need to happen in the 3D, like they need to break up with the third party, or I gotta go back to school, or, I need to lose that weight, or do some more inner work, child healing, or revise some more things, or become a better version of me or completely change my self concept. Look, I get it. I had been there so many times where I was like, when I finally lose the weight, or when I finally go back to school, or when I finally become that perfect version of me, then it will happen. You have literally inserted a excuse, which is literally just a story you're telling yourself. And because you are not ready for your manifestation yet, that is holding you back from getting what you want. Look, I get it. I had been there so many times where I was like, when I finally lose the weight, or when I finally go back to school, or when I finally become that perfect version of me, then it will happen. And yes, you heard me correctly, because you are not ready. The difference between the people that have it and the people that are still waiting for it is because the people that have it made a decision. It's coming. It's mine. It's done. They got sick of their own bullshit and all the stories in the way. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you and telling you that not having a good self-concept isn't a plus, but it's not needed to manifest. All you have to do is step into being the version of you that has the perfect self-concept now. It's really this simple. I really sat and thought about it quite recently. Like when this really hit me hard, I was just like, let me think back to like when I've been really sure about something. How long did it take me to get something? And I thought to myself, I'm like, wow, like there were moments in my life ever since I was like a teenager, because that's when I honestly really started consciously manifesting, like around the age of like 14, 15. And there were things that like I couldn't even believe. And I will share those stories eventually. Just some things are still private. But at this point, it wouldn't matter because we're all like older now. No one would give a shit if I even said their names. Regardless of that, from all those experiences from a teenager till now, the only thing that made it come in like that was when I had decided it was done. Like I am done like playing around. I'm done feeling a pity party for myself, thinking about how bad things were, how circumstances are in the way. Every time I made that decision, like, no, this is mine. No, it's done. No, I'm getting what I want and I'm getting it now. Before I knew law of assumption, it would take me anywhere from like, I would say a few days to a few weeks max. And I would see movement really fast and I did not understand things. And even now, when I make that decision, when I'm like, I'm not fucking around anymore, and this is a lot faster for me now because I obviously know things at a very higher level and I'm much more awake in the dream than asleep in the dream. And that's another conversation for another day. Things happen so instantly. The sad part is it takes a lot of people like getting fed up with their circumstancing or having something really big happen or shake them in order to snap out of that excuse or, oh, it'll happen then, or I need to do some more healing. Like in the past, before I was at this level of consciousness that I am, a lot of times it would take like my SP getting engaged or dwelling in shitty states or gaining a crazy, not a crazy amount, but a good amount of weight and being like, oh, I've had enough of this, right? Like when you get sick of yourself, usually that's when a lot of people make that decision. And I don't want to say that's the only time, but it's like when you're sick of feeling like shit. But you shouldn't have to like get to that point. Aren't you sick of not having what you want? This is the difference between people that get their manifestations fast and the ones that are waiting for weeks, months, and years. And I'll tell you something, you are using that excuse because you're more comfortable with that excuse than actually giving yourself what you want. I don't care what anyone says, you are comfortable in that misery. And I'm not saying that we do it intentionally. A lot of times when you're stuck in shitty states, I'll admit like it feels impossible. It can feel really hard, but we're so used to these states. We're so comfortable with them that when we shift to the new state, it gets uncomfortable and we don't persist long enough or try to like make that decision because it's comfortable to fall back to what's known. So just remember the only difference here is making that decision and sticking to it. And don't wait until you see something huge in your reality just to push you in that direction, F all that. Make that decision now. Literally, if you make that decision now, you will see things move so fast. I can't even tell you. Your head will literally spin. Like and follow to learn manifesting the right way.